All right, here we go. Fuel your body and focus your mind with Jocko Fuel. Save 10% when you use promo code Reyes Reflection. Be bold, be you. Tattoo skincare made easy with Mad Rabbit Tattoo Aftercare. Save 20% when you use promo code Reyes Reflection. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another fantastic episode of the Reyes Reflection podcast. The best things in life are free, such as laughter, sleep. Follow me on the social medias and subscribing to the podcast. Follow me at I'm Nathanael Reyes. Quick shout out to Mad Rabbit Skincare Products, BYOB, and save when you use promo code Reyes Reflection, and Jocko Fuel, clean, raw ingredients. Use code, you guessed it, Reyes Reflection. Now, my next guest may be one of the most zestful personalities to have ever graced your television, but also my pod. Mainly because her one-liners, which are witty, funny, makes it even better because it's just shooting from the hip. That's why we've grown to love her. It has propelled her to being a legend and a staple of this season of The Voice. She is the leader of the Spitfire Nation, an award winner, storyteller, has her own merch. So without further ado, Jordan Rayner, welcome to the show.
Woo-hoo. Good to be here, man.
Thank you so much for doing this. I wore my pink for you.
Hey, I'm wearing all the pink I own right here.
That's right. That's right. So I want to learn a little bit about you before we get into The Voice and all your awards and all your incredible background. So you were born in Atoka, but you were raised in Durant. Is that right?
That's right. I call it the Texoma area. I kind of bounced around a lot, but that's home.
And now currently you're in Nashville, Tennessee?
Yes, sir. Right here in my home studio.
In an interview, I saw that you said music was the only thing you were naturally good at. We talked a little bit about that off camera, how we both struggled with math.
Yeah.
So when did you know that music was going to be such an important part of your life?
Well, a big part of it was when I couldn't pass Algebra 1. I wasn't very good in school. I wasn't book smart, and I loved English. I loved writing. I was always really, really good at creative writing. And so I always leaned into that. And in my early teenage years, when I started playing guitar and that kind of thing, writing naturally was incorporated into that because I love to write and tell stories. And I knew if I was ever going to have a shot at not being homeless, for the rest of my life, I better get really good at something. And this was it.
And music just naturally fit in.
It did, man. I from the time that I was in diapers, there's an early picture of me. I think I was about 18 months old, and I'm sitting at a piano bench in my diaper, nothing else, playing a piano. So it was born in.
I love that. I love that. I love how when we're kids, we can kind of see what things are naturally better for us. Like even myself, I was never good in school or anything like that. That was left to my older brother. God gave him that talent, not me. But I always was walking around with a microphone, the little toy microphones.
Yeah. I think, people, they always say, I'm going to go on a journey to find myself. And I say, go look at who you were at 18 months old and you'll find out who your real self is. Get back to that.
I said that in an interview with Allison, how we almost have to revert back to our younger self at times.
Yep.
Because when you do so, you are fearless. You are more resilient. You're able to bounce back quicker and keep trying.
Right.
You're not as afraid of rejection, or maybe you're not as aware of rejection. So sometimes you almost need to revert back to that. And I completely agree with you. I think your younger years tell a lot about who you are. I was always with a mic or holding on a little sport ball. So I was always...
There you go.
So those were my two things. Now as a podcast host and a fitness trainer. So completely get it.
I love it. Well, I need to get some fitness tips from you after the show.
I got you, my friend. So present day, not on The Voice, you're gigging in Nashville, Tennessee full time. Is that correct?
I have been for the last few years, and I'm actually lucky enough now to be traveling the country and being on the road and doing shows and selling out small theaters across the country.
Oh, wow. Wow. Any New England shows? I'll have to swing by if you do.
We are trying to work our way up the East Coast in 2024, so be looking for that.
Okay. Once you do, Nathanael Reyes will get a ticket. I'm a man of my word, so I will show up.
We're looking to really expand our horizons. So far, we've been up the kind of the Midwest and up, just the middle of the map, but we are looking to go west and far east as well.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's geographically, it's better to work your area and then expand.
Absolutely, and we've been doing the groundwork. We've been working Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas for the last couple of years, and we're just now starting to really build a name to where we can book a room with 300 or 400 seats, and it sells out within a couple of days. And so we're really starting to see that work pay off.
Now let's talk about The Voice.
Yeah.
On The Voice, you had a 4-chair turn. You sang Fancy by Reba.
Yes.
You absolutely rocked it with Mom and Dad watching. I won't ask you why you chose that song because you already answered it on national television saying it was the best.
It is the best.
But why does it mean so much to you? You said it hits every bone in your body. Why does it mean that much to you?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. It was written and originally recorded by an artist named Bobby Gentry, and she was such a gritty, honest, authentic country artist that I wish that history could have heard a lot more from. But then Reba came along, and she took that song, and of course, she took it into the stratosphere and made it the song that we all know today. And that was just a very precious time in country music where you could talk about raw, honest things that were honestly dark and, a little hard to stomach if you just told it in any other way, but other than music. Of course, the song is about a mother who has to turn her daughter out to sell her body in order to keep the baby from starving to death and to keep the family fed. That's a real thing that probably used to happen, especially like in Appalachia and different parts of the country in the early 1900s. And so I just celebrate the fact that country music is so honest and so gritty, and it represents that women do what we have to do to survive. It's not always pretty, but we are built-in born survivors.
I do agree with that sentiment. I co-sign it because I honestly say that women are the most resilient creatures. I admit I'm a baby. When I'm sick, forget it. If I have a cold, leave me alone for 10 days.
Right.
But you'll see a woman, a mother, they're working, they're out there still grinding.
We are.
While being sick, and in some cases they're pregnant at the same time. So I give a lot of appreciation for that. I grew up with a single mom, so I definitely do have a lot of appreciation for strong women in life for being such a representation. So I appreciate that you were able to represent your own version of why that song means a lot to you.
Thank you so much.
Of course. High praises from all the coaches. Gwen even said you scared her a little bit. I don't know if you saw.
I did hear that. Jackson, who I went up against in my battle round, he told me, this was off camera, but he was like, "You are one of the most beautiful, terrifying ladies I've ever met." So Lord help me, it's a dynamic that, there's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde. I can be this beautiful, soft person, or I can also be the person that tells you, hey, F around and find out.
I almost think that's needed because I think you need to be able to say, listen, I do have this warm, fuzzy, caring side, but I'm also not going to let you just walk all over me and cross me.
That's right.
And I think that that's really cool that you have been able to find that balance, and I think it shows on the TV show. I even noticed it.
Thank you.
So I definitely see that balance, and I think most people, as America now, are watching you perform. They're also seeing that balance. A lot of shenanigans. Niall kept pressing the button.
Yep.
I know you're still competing.
Yeah.
But in an alternate universe, who would you have chosen other than Reba? I'm just curious.
So the fun fact was, I had my mind made up, of course, going in that room, is that if Reba turned a chair, I wanted to go on her team. But the day of, when all 4 chairs turned and I listened to each one of them make their pitch to me, I was surprised at how conflicted I was and how hard of a decision it actually was. And the 2 people that really surprised me were John and Gwen. Gwen made an excellent pitch, and she was so personable to me, and she touched on some things that she saw in me in that audition just as an artist that I thought, wow, I really appreciate that you noticed that and that you took that in. And John was the same way. John, I think, really related to me as an artist, and he saw how much work I had put in, and I appreciated that. So I probably would have gone with Gwen or John.
Wow, interesting. I love that. I love the playing the hypothetical game.
Oh, yeah. But, I would have gone with Niall just for sheer selfish reasons, if you know what I mean.
So I take it that you find him a dapper man.
He is a dapper man with a beautiful accent.
I do. I am a big fan of accents. When I hear any actor, actress say an accent, it kind of melts me a little bit. To me, I'm like, whoa, that got me. So
It does it for me. It does it for me.
I agree. I agree. The Queen of Country, however, she won your heart.
She did.
You ended up choosing her. Then the battles, you talked about, you faced Jackson, and you had to sing a duet, another Reba song.
Yeah.
What was it like working with Reba in a one-on-one setting? Because you've always been a big fan of her. You even talked about vulnerability a little bit, where you took off your sunglasses. What was that like to work with Reba and for her to get that out of you?
You know, it was, on one hand, it's almost like an out-of-body experience because, you know, you're not getting to really interact with her in a one-on-one setting. You've got production there. You've got cameras. There's a lot going on that's taking your focus away from how amazing this moment is. But at the same time, there was a part of me that was able to really appreciate how incredible this was. And she gave such great advice, you know, just as a performer, as an entertainer, some things that have helped her overcome stage fright and the way that she would deliver this song. And she even told the story behind how she got Vince Gill to be a part of that song. So it was really cool and very surreal in the fact that we are still going strong. It just amazes me.
It seemed very awesome watching it because it seemed very authentic. It seemed real. It seemed natural. And that's one of the things I think that makes that show so successful.
Yeah.
Is I've heard from the producers to the coaches themselves that everyone is just so authentic and real. And it sounds like a very cool experience. And I'm glad that you have been able to add this to your portfolio. And I know you're still competing, and I'm rooting for you. So then the battles happened with where you were talking about components of your past, and not too many times I can say that I'm flat out watching TV and I'm just bursting out laughing. But that's what you made me do with your one-liners. I think you had everyone cracking up. Why is that so important for you to have that personality trait within yourself? I know for myself, I use humor to almost push through stresses and challenges. So why is that so important for you?
Well, it's built in. It's everything that I am. I'm a comedian at heart. I love to make people laugh. And I'll tell you, I was always the smallest kid in my class, and I was always the new kid in class. We moved around a lot when I was a kid. And being the smallest person, you know, I was an easy target. I was picked on a lot. That became a natural just defense for life. Anytime something, you know, is causing me to be anxious or I'm uncomfortable, or if I am comfortable, I want to be putting smiles on people's faces. And so the fact that I'm able to show that side of me, not just the musical side, but the comedic aspect, I think that sets me apart. I think it is endearing, and I think it's going to help me along the road of the competition.
And beyond that, I think that shows who you are as a person. And I've been able to gravitate towards it as your personality. And it's authentic. You can see that it's authentic.
Thank you.
That you're not just portraying some character because you're on TV. That this is really who Jordan is, which I really appreciate, and I think a lot of America does, and they appreciate that candor, especially with a world where we're on social media, we're on our phones. There's a lot of, hey, this is me, imposter syndrome, I guess you could say. Whereas, like for you, you're saying, listen, America, this is my heart on my sleeve. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. Love me or hate me, and I'm fine with either one.
It is, and honestly, because it's network television, you're getting a subdued version of myself. My publicist sweats bullets every time I do an interview because I'm kind of what you call a liability. I'm a little bit of a loose cannon. So I really have to work hard to keep everything family-friendly and to not make my mama just wish that she was in a hole somewhere.
Right. Yep. No, I get that. I'm the same way. My mom is constantly like, oh, man, what is going to come out of Nathaniel's mouth? I have to, you know, she's like, she listens to these episodes and goes, oh, what story is he going to share about us as a family? So I get it.
I get text messages from my mama all the time going, I really wish you hadn't said that. And I'm like, well, then I know it was spot on.
Yeah, right. You know I did something right.
If my mama hates it, it was probably good.
I love that mentality. Then on the knockouts, you got to work with Winona Judd.
Yep.
What was that like, being able to work with another titan in the industry?
Another redheaded titan, you know, it's the two glorious redheaded twins of country music. She was, you know, what's funny about Winona is she and I really clicked. I mean, we have a lot in common. She has that same kind of dry sense of humor. I could tell that she's got that little sparkle in her eye. There's mischief in her. And if the camera crew and everybody would have walked away and she and I could have gone out for drinks, we would have turned out Los Angeles upside down.
Yeah. I love her one-liners. She did the same thing. You know, she like in one of the interviews that she said, she goes, even Jesus needed multiple friends. So I'm like, whoa.
That's right.
I was like, well, I never even thought about that. And I grew up in a pretty religious household. So
I did too.
You sang Kelsey Ballerini, excuse me, Hole in a Bottle.
Yeah.
Won the knockouts.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you do to help yourself navigate through this competition show?
Well, I call my friends a lot, and I drink a lot of coffee, and that's about it. You know, I mean, on Hole in the Bottle, you know, we had a montaged edit of that performance, and so we didn't get to see the whole performance. And
Right.
That particular performance, I worked so incredibly hard. I had a guitar solo in there that was just ripping and roaring, you know, and I used to sit in my hotel room every day before the competition and spend 2 or 3 hours just working that solo and working those lines. And that's what I do with every song. You know, I really spend my time in it, because the way I describe it, I say, I want a song to find its home in my body. In other words, I've worked it and I've sang it so much that it begins to feel like I wrote it, and it just begins to flow out of me like conversation. If I don't have the time with a song to do that, it's a disservice. So that's kind of my whole strategy, is to let a song find its home in my body and make people feel like I wrote this and I'm singing it right to you.
And I think that resonates on the TV screen. So I think you're doing a very good job at that. And I think that that's what makes you so successful as an artist.
Thank you.
Is that you are able to put your heart and soul into something, because my mom always said, if you're not going to do something right, then don't do it at all.
Absolutely. I was raised that same way.
Yes, it sounds like you have that same mentality.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears a little bit now. As I mentioned in your intro, you won a couple rewards, like the Future Face Award. What is it like to be recognized for your individual talents?
It's a dream come true. I was just having a conversation this morning with my best friend, and she's also my personal assistant. And we were just talking about the recognition now that's starting to happen, and the appreciation from America as a whole of what I do and the work I've put in and the music I make. And I used to dream about this, you know, as a kid, you know, people singing my songs and knowing my music, and to now see that becoming a reality, it's really wild, and it's very surreal, and I absolutely love it.
I hope in the next few months, as you're still on this journey on national television, that you're embracing every moment, that you're embracing the exposure, and that you are just living your best life. Because I think from what you've shared a little bit on TV, sounds like you're a woman that has gone through a lot, but it sounds like you're a very strong, resilient woman. And I'm rooting for you. You have a fan in life from me. And so I definitely appreciate that you shared this.
I appreciate you so much. And likewise, I honestly, I did not know your show before today, and I'm really impressed with the interviewer that you are, and I can tell that you have a lot of give a damn, as I call it, and I really appreciate your skill in this process as well.
I appreciate that. It makes me feel like I'm doing my job right.
You are.
Let's end with some burning questions.
All right.
Talk to me about Spitfire Nation. What is Spitfire Nation?
Spitfire Nation is the name of my fans, my community, the people that love my music and are here in it with me for the long haul. And I am the queen of Spitfire Nation. And if you would like to join my official fan club, you can go to jordanraynerofficial.com, join one of my paid tiers. They're $5, $10, and $50. And depending on which tier you join, you get behind the scenes access, virtual VIP tickets, Zoom calls with me once a month. It is a blast to be part of Spitfire Nation.
I love that. I love that you have that interaction with your fans, and it's not just, hey, listen, you listen to my music, and that's it. That there's a sense of personability that's there. Yeah, I
that's
like that.
Right. The music is just a means for me to get to know you and for us to connect.
Yeah. Music is a bridge. Why does wearing sunglasses bother your mother so much?
Because she can't control it. She she has always loved to have a say in what I wear, and I think whenever I was first born, she wanted me to be this pretty little Barbie doll that she could stick stuff on and put bows in her hair. And whenever I got old enough to say no, she was like, "But I still want to put stuff on you, and I still want to play dress up with you." And so this is just my 30-year-old version of rebellion.
You didn't do it at 14, 15, 16, but you're doing it now.
Well, I did it back then too, but this is just the latest model.
That's okay. You've evolved into a different. I love it.
It's involved because listen, it used to be dresses on Sunday morning for church. She used to say, "You got to wear a dress to church," and I said, "The hell I will." So she also told me I couldn't wear Converse tennis shoes on my wedding day, and I marched down the aisle in bright red Converse tennis shoes. So
Perfect. I love that. I love that. Hey, you beat to the beat of your own drum.
I do.
I love that. How good were Reba's tots? Scale of 1 to 10.
They were a little dry.
Little dry. Okay.
They were good. They tasted like victory.
I love victory.
Dry victory.
Solve this riddle for me. Ready? A man's best friend is a dog. So what is a woman's best friend?
A bottle of wine.
What is twang?
Twang is what you're hearing right now. It's a complete abuse of the English language, but I can't help it. It's how I was born.
Yeah. I had someone try to explain it to me, and they were like, it's English, but a different way. It's a country English. And so, yeah.
Yeah, basically you take a single vowel and you turn it into 3 syllables, and that's twang.
Hey, I'm from New England where our R's are completely missing half the time. Not me personally, but everyone around me. It's like, hot and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I guess this is our version of that.
So New England, it's like your R's are missing where they're supposed to be, and then you put in R's where they don't need to be. I had a friend that was from Boston, and he said Coca-Cola. And I'm like, that R doesn't go there, sir. So y'all need to sort out where your R's go.
Right. Yeah, you're completely right. They just throw in letters and random things, and it's a completely a weird way to talk up in New England. What does country as cornbread and country as crawfish mean?
Well, down here in the South, cornbread and crawfish go together, and that's pretty much at every meal, give or take. Cornbread is a side dish that we have at every meal. So if you are country as cornbread, you are pretty dang country.
And last question for you. What is the name of your wiener dog?
Scooter. Little Scooter. Oh, Scooter's a handful and a half, just like his mama.
Scooter. We love Scooter. Plug in your socials. Where can people find you and experience Jordan?
Well, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, plenty of fans, only fish, anywhere that people are found, you can find me. And Jordan Rainer, that's Rainer, just Google the name and you can find me anywhere you need to.
That's awesome. Well, Jordan, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day, joining me on the Reyes Reflection podcast. You're forever a friend of the show. I've sworn you in. It's basically like being an Avenger.
Thank you. Well, you are an honorary member of Spitfire Nation as well.
Spitfire Nation. That's right. Thanks again for joining. That is going to do it for this episode of the Reyes Reflection podcast. Don't forget to follow me on the socials, like, comment, subscribe. That'll do it. May you live, may you love, and may you thrive. I'm Oprah, and I love you all.